Since the US launched strikes on Venezuela and seized President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, videos claiming to show people celebrating inside Venezuela have been widely circulating online. But they're misleading. Like this video, for example, shared by right-wing conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. It falsely claims to show large crowds in the Venezuelan capital, Caracas, celebrating the seizure of Nicolas Maduro. And it has over 2 million views. But it's not new. It actually shows anti-Maduro protests in Venezuela in 2024 over a highly disputed election. And this, a post viewed by millions on X, again falsely claims to show celebrations erupting all across Venezuela. Now this video is recent, but this is actually in Florida. We know this because of details in the background and comparing it with other videos that it's actually this petrol station in the city of Doral. And again, this post claims to be crowds of people lining the streets in Venezuela, but we verified it's actually Venezuelans in Panama City by identifying the location of this bridge. Now there have been Venezuelans out celebrating in the streets across the world, but in this case, we've not seen those crowds in the country itself. Some Venezuelans have told the BBC that that's because they feel scared and they can't freely voice their feelings.
A un compañero, vamos a ir un momentito, compatriota, a un compañero dirigente.
Cecilia y Nicolás, no permitamos nunca.
Vamos a todos con mucho respeto y estamos firmes aquí en la defensa de la revolución bolivariana. Un aplauso espiritual para nuestro caído, pues un aplauso.
In this country when I was 10 years old and
el pueblo en la calle indignado, molesto, aquí estamos, no nos vamos a retirar de la calle hasta que sepamos de nuestro presidente Nicolás Maduro. Nuestra vicepresidenta tiene una fe de vida, nosotros estamos en la calle pidiendo la fe de vida, que nos devuelvan a nuestro presidente que lo han secuestrado. Molesto, aquí estamos, no nos vamos a retirar de la calle hasta que sepamos de nuestro presidente Nicolás Maduro. Nuestra vicepresidenta tiene una fe de vida, nosotros estamos en la calle pidiendo la fe de vida, que nos devuelvan a nuestro presidente que lo han secuestrado.
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Harakak Wadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and peace and salutations to the elect, all right, of the true nation of Israel, Yasharallah, all right, you fellow Wakim, pushing this truth to the four corners of the earth, waking up the rest of the elect, all right, so Yahweh Shai can return and redeem us upon out of this wicked and temporal world ruled by our enemies, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Okay, I showed you some TikToks, man. All right, because the day that Maduro was captured by the United States and brought to the United States to put on trial, all right, all over TikTok and social media, there was supposedly Venezuelans hitting the streets celebrating because the U.S. Is that a mosquito? Yo, there's a mosquito. It's on the outside of my car. There's a mosquito on my car. All right, outside of my car in the dead middle of winter, man. All right, people saying it's it feels like springtime, man. Hey, we're at the end, man. All right, the foundations of the earth are out of course. Okay. It's spring. It's basically springtime in the middle of winter. Hey, shit. Last year, it felt good all the way to January 1st, and then it got cold as hell. All right. Now this year, it feels good, and it's still January. All all right, well into January, and we're not getting no weather predictor saying that it's gonna get any cold anytime soon, man. Which the water, because I hate cold weather, man. If it was up to me, I'll live in towards the equator. I hate cold weather. But hey, man, we're at the end, man. And seeing these things around the world, seeing America, making these moves on Venezuela, all right, and they're being blatant with it, man. All right, the United States is saying, it was all about drugs coming into our country. Maduro, we're gonna try him for drugs and whatnot, and then out of nowhere, now it's all about oil. All right, and they're being blatant with it, man. Trump is being blatant. All right, the United States and the heads of the United States are being blatant. Saying, oh yeah, we're gonna set up a puppet leader. Straight up saying it, man. They're straight up saying that they're gonna set up a puppet leader in Venezuela and rule over the people and whatnot, and take their oil for us. For the United States. Straight up. But I thought it was just about drugs. Drug lords, Maduro trafficking drugs in the United States and blah, 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 But not, hey, we all, and everybody who's, saying it was about oil and, it's actually about oil resources, which they're right. The United States is like, you know what? Yep, it is about oil. We're here to make money for Venezuela, use up their oil, and benefit the world, democracy, it's like they totally forgot about the drugs and whatnot, that was their excuse, and now they're like, fuck it, that was easy, and now let's just tell everybody why the hell we're here, it's to take the oil, because Venezuela is one of the most richest countries concerning the resources of oil, okay, and oil is very it's literally black gold in this world, man. All right, because the machinery, all right, for war, all right, like tanks and vehicles and stuff runs on oil, okay, petrol, okay, all right, and America is taking over Venezuela and wants to take over Greenland and in these key spots in the Western Hemisphere, all right, for war, all right, because Iran just declared war on the West, all right, and bang, the United States took over Venezuela, wants to take over Greenland, and is threatening Cuba, and literally threatened Venezuela, all right, to cut ties with Russia, Cuba, all right, in these eastern countries like Iran and Brazil, in India and whatnot, man, all right. Let me look that up on Google, man. All right.
If they have to,
USA. Shoot, a brother just did a what lesson on it, man. All right, Slocky for my algo. This brother right here, GMS. All right, GMS. Slocky, the brother GMS. Underscore Samak Ephraim. All right, 777/7. All right. The title of his lesson is Trump demands Russia, China, Iran, and Cuba agents leave Venezuela. Terror shall make him afraid, okay? And that was his first precept that he brought out in his lesson, man. Okay. Slocky, what the fuck? But yeah, the United States, they're gearing up for war. Just as these other Eastern countries, these BRICS nations, all right, are gearing up for war, man. Okay. All right. But the topic of this lesson, because I was going to do another lesson on that, bring out some precepts, because I got those lined up. Venezuelans, all right, no, so the topic of this lesson is going to be about, these Venezuelans, they're actually protesting and are against, all right, they're not with, all right, they're against what the United States did, all right, to them, all right, invading them, taking their country over, and attacking them, not taking them over. All right, because they haven't fully took over all of Venezuela. They seized Caracas, okay, and they took over Maduro. All right, they took over. They captured him, and they got him in the United States right now, sitting on trial. Okay, that's the current situation. Okay, but the day that happened, they were showing on social media. All right, Venezuelans celebrating when really It was Venezuelans celebrating on different days, different parts of the world. Okay.
De repente sonaron unos bombardeos.
All right. They're not happy. They're actually not happy. They're not celebrating. The people of Venezuela are protesting, man. They're against the
Norteamericanos.
Look, they're mourning, they're crying. This is just one woman.
Que se atrevería tanto, porque aquí en Venezuela solamente estamos construyendo soberanía, paz y felicidad con nuestro presidente Nicolás Maduro, y así como está sucediendo en Venezuela, hacemos un llamado a los pueblos hermanos del mundo que despierten, porque construyendo soberanía, paz y felicidad con nuestro presidente Nicolás Maduro, y así como está sucediendo en Venezuela, hacemos un llamado a los pueblos hermanos del mundo que despierten.
So the scriptures say, when the righteous are in authority, the world rejoices, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. All right, and the world is at mourning. All right, kingdom against kingdom, people against people, people mourning, crying, people being unalived in mass numbers, bombings everywhere. Okay, wars and rumors of war, countries gearing up for war, countries stealing resources from other countries to gear up for war. Countries invading other countries and kidnapping their president, you know, like the United States. United States wanting to take Greenland, and Denmark is like, you know what? If you do that, you know, we're cutting ties. All right, the
Que la ignorancia del pueblo norteamericano no respeta fronteras, no respeta país, no respeta derechos.
Gringos de mierda, no van a pasar, no vencerán. El pueblo bolivariano está rodilla en tierra, defendiendo.
Look, it says, as the U.S. confirmed the kidnapping of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, Venezuelans took to the streets of Caracas. All right, so they took to the streets to do what? To condemn U.S. peerless aggression. All right. Okay, so they weren't celebrating. And those videos of Venezuelans celebrating, those were from different days. All right. Last year, years before, or different parts of the world, man. All right. So that was fake news that you saw a couple days ago. Seeing Venezuelans celebrate because of that, that was fake news, man. Okay. You know. Revelation 12:9 says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. That's what's going to happen when Yahushua returns. Okay, he's going to, you know, he's setting up these countries for war, to go at war with each other, man. This Edomite to go to war with everybody, to start World War III, just for the Lord to return and cast them down. All right, and to destroy him with his own weapon. Okay. The nuclear missiles, okay? Weapons of mass destruction, okay? All right, so Yahushua could put these heathens down and put them under our feet as slaves, as they're supposed to be created for, okay? And establish the kingdom of heaven in righteousness, okay? And what was the main point of this precept? That the devil and Satan deceiveth the whole world, all right? And amen. He's that's what he is, man. He's a deceiver. That's the main characteristic of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the nation of Edom. All right, the border of wickedness. Okay, the man of sin. One of his main characteristics is that he's a deceiver. All right, he runs off deceit and lies. All right, and he used deceit and lies to try to deceive people into thinking. All right. That Venezuelans were happy and celebrating when they actually weren't, man. All right. You know, they're gearing up for war, man. Okay, because they know America, they're not going to stop right there. They want the resources and oil for war, for World War III, man. Okay. And that's why they're trying to take Greenland, because that's a key geographical position for war. All right. you know, because you're getting closer, you know, that's a northern close spot, all right, geographically to the east, okay, of the world, okay, because, you know, it's connected to Canada and whatnot. And if you have that position, you know, you could attack closer, okay, all right. What else? What's another precept? It's like I add another precept. Oh, the Prince of the Power. Okay. In Ephesians 2:2, it says, wherein in time past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. Okay, and this is talking about the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, who controls the whole world, who's in power right now over the whole world. Okay, you can't tell me otherwise. You can't tell us otherwise that the white man isn't in control, because he is. Okay, he runs the world. He calls the shots. Okay. All right. And he's the prince of the power of the air. What does that mean? He controls the airways, the internet. All right. And that's how he deceives. All right. And lies to the world and deceives the whole world, man, by way of the internet and media. Okay. And media goes back to that word Medea, which is an entity. It's a demon. Okay. It's a spirit behind that, you know. I believe it's an illusionist type of spirit, okay, deceiving kind of spirit. Correct me if I'm wrong, you know. You know. So this devil, hey, he runs the world and, you know, the airways, the internet, all right. You know, he decides to censor you. He decides if you are able to upload a video or not. If you're censored or not. And what is he trying to do now? All right, what is he doing now? He's taking brothers' videos, all right, without letting them know, okay, and AI dubbing them, all right, taking out the names of the Lord and putting Yahushua and bullshit like that, man, all right, without brothers knowing, you know. So it's so crucial now, all right, to push this truth, man, okay, all right. To stay sober, man, all right, in these times, okay? Because if you fall asleep, you know, spiritually, hey, man, if you blink, you know, you're going to miss a lot, okay? And all these things are going on and happening in a couple days, you know, a few days. Just as the year started, all